Good evening, and we are live. So, welcome everyone. It's Sunday, and I hope you had a great day. I certainly had a great day. So, I used the time today to do some to do a workout, actually, to do some sports. Then I took the time to organize my week today, and then I had some dinner and worked on content for mastering consulting. So yeah, it was a pretty good day. So please let me know how your day was wherever you are. Also, if you are in the chat, as always, please write in the chat where you come from, so that the audience and that the community knows how international we are today. Cool. And today we have a live Q&A session. So this means that you can ask me anything and I will answer it. And I at least blocked 60 minutes for that. So whatever your questions are, feel free to ask them. And I will talk about that and take the time to answer everything. So if you have any questions, then please write them in the chat. I haven't prepared that many questions at the moment. So just write whatever you want to know, and let's see where this is going. Good, I see people from South Africa. Very, very cool. From France. Very nice. Cool. Good. The chat on YouTube doesn't work. And I see we have the first question. Give me a second. I try to connect to the chat on YouTube first. Okay. So sorry. Give me 1 second. Okay. How do I land consulting clients? Okay. Here we go. Chat works on YouTube as well. Good. Yeah. Then I would say let's start directly. So how to land consulting clients? So do you mean like how to acquire consulting clients, right? Legal technologists. So, well, I think especially in consulting, client acquisition is a networking game. Okay, so in order to acquire clients, you need to have a great network. Okay, because unlike other industries, like I don't know, if you sell insurances, for example, you don't need a kind of very deep level of trust. But in the service industry, especially in consulting, it's very different. Okay, so you usually have to invest a lot upfront in terms of relationship building and network development before you actually can sell a project. Okay, so that's why typically you need to invest a lot in your network first. Okay. And at the end, you need to build a funnel. Okay, so what I do personally is, and I'm talking purely about a sales funnel at the moment. Okay, we can talk about positioning in a second. Okay, but what I usually do is that I have a network funnel, and the network funnel has the following steps. Okay, so first I have people that I only am connected with through social media. Okay, or through online. So this means like they, I don't know, have access to or I'm connected with them on LinkedIn, for example. They write me on Instagram, or I have their email address. So this would be a kind of online channel. That's the first step of the funnel. Okay. And the next step is that I can schedule a call with them. Okay. So this would be the next step. Okay. I try to have like a regular, maybe monthly call, just to stay up to date. And this is the second level. It's where where you call with the people. And the next level is where you have a personal relationship. Okay, where you kind of meet physically regularly, or where you meet on an event, or where you even have a private relationship. Okay, so this is kind of the third level of the funnel. And you have to try to guide the people through the funnel. Okay, so I think nowadays the easiest way to network is to do that through online channels. Okay, so maybe you network through your LinkedIn account, maybe you network through Instagram, for example, as I do sometimes. And there you try, to get as many people as possible into the funnel. After that, you try, if the contact is interested and interesting, and if you are interested, and if the contact is interested, then you maybe schedule a call, okay, to get to know each other. And once you have a kind of a personal chemistry together, you can try, to meet with them personally. And this is all work that has to be done up front, okay? And to be honest, yes, there are those shortcuts where through a friend and through, I don't know, coincidences where you have or get people in the funnel who immediately are interested in project opportunities. But this is not, how it goes usually. Okay, so usually I would say you have to build this strong network first before you can start getting in the sales mode. And it's very important. So don't be salesy too early. Okay. So when I was very active in student clubs when I studied, and there when I went to university, and there I was responsible for my student consultancy for project acquisition. And the mistake that I made was I was too salesy at the beginning. Okay, I didn't focus too much on network building. I tried to sell straight. Try to sell projects straight away. And the danger is that once your potential prospect refuses you. Okay, so if you're too salesy and they say, okay, this guy, doesn't seem to be, I don't know, a person that I trust. The consultant is only interested in, getting my money. Once you reach that point, it's very hard, to rebuild trust again. Okay, so once they see you as this too pushy, too salesy guy, you will most probably stay that guy. Okay, so that's why I think it's very important to build that network over a very long term time period. Okay. So the implication for you is that you should start as early as possible to build your network. Okay. And I have to be honest, and I made a video, I think last week or this week, about my three biggest mistakes in consulting. And I think, and I mean this honestly, one of my biggest mistakes was that I didn't start building a professional network earlier. Okay, because now I'm, a senior consultant, close to project manager, and now I see how important my network is. Okay, and I wished I would have started earlier, and because that would provide me much better opportunities than I now have. Okay, so start as early as possible. So the question is, how do you get those people into the funnel? Okay, if you want to connect with them on social media, it's very hard and very kind of scammy. If you just write people, hey, I want to connect with you for no whatever reason. Okay, so I think the key is that you kind of position yourself, that you build a kind of online content channel. Okay, so for example, if you're an, I don't know, technology consultant for, I don't know, big data analysis, for example, okay, then why, do a kind of a content platform where you talk about that. Okay, so launch a Instagram channel, launch a blog, launch a YouTube channel, okay, and where you talk about that. And once you start that, you will see that people will approach you. Okay, people who are generally interested in your topic, they will approach you. And this is how I try to get the people in the funnel. Okay, of course there are other ways, like activating, I don't know, your network from university, then going to events, and there are many other ways how to get people into the funnel. But I think the easiest way nowadays is through online marketing. Okay, and this means that you have to position yourself with a certain topic you want to consult in, and then to do valuable content and build your influence online then. And again, selling and consulting is a long-term game. So don't make the mistake to be kind of this annoying insurance guy who wants to sell you high margin insurances. No, in consulting it's quite different. Okay, people are spending a lot of money for consultants. It's usually a very individualized and customized service that you provide. So you need a very, very high level of trust upfront. Okay, so that maybe as an introduction to how to acquire consulting clients. But legal technologists, so let me know if you have any follow up questions. Okay. Okay, which role plays age in strategy consulting? Can someone be too young for being a strategy consulting because she's not taken serious by the client? Okay, so I would say the average. So it depends. If you're in the US, then you usually join as an analyst. Okay, after your bachelor's degree. In Europe, it's similar, but most people join after their masters as a consultant. Okay, and then you are typically in your somewhere in your mid 20s. Okay, and I think I was certainly afraid when I started, and I'm still. I mean, I'm not that young, but still, usually as a management consultant, you're younger than the people that you advise. Okay, because you usually advise top management, and they are between, I don't know, 40 and 50, maybe even above 50, and you as a consultant are most likely somewhere in your 20s or early 30s. Okay, and so when I started, I was very concerned about that because I also look very young, and this was very often a issue for me. Until one, actually, I had a, it was a kind of eye opener for me. Okay, because I think 3 weeks ago I was with a very senior executive from my current client. I was at the airport. Okay, and we had a long discussion. And he was like, I don't know how old he is, but let's say 55 or 50, 56 maybe. I don't know. Okay, so he's much older than I am. Okay, and I thought at this airport, I first thought, okay, I have to say many clever things. Okay, because I'm the consultant, and probably he wants me to give him all the answers and so on. So I tried to come up with very clever ideas and suggestions, and try to explain him how the world in management works and stuff like that. And I realized that he wasn't interested in my opinion at all, because of the following reason. And it was totally okay for him, because your role as a management consultant, especially at a younger age, is not to kind of be the expert and to pretend to know everything. Your role as a consultant, especially at the beginning, is to kind of to collect knowledge from others, and to package them in a deliverable. Okay, this can be an analysis, this can be a presentation, or a recommendation at the end. But it's not expected of you at the beginning to know all the answers. Okay, because you probably can't. You don't know the answers, because you're 20 something, and it would be crazy to think that you have like 10 years of management experience. And the thing is that your client knows that. Okay, I know as a consultant you feel like the pressure, and you think, oh my god, I have to know everything, and I'm so young and inexperienced, and I don't know what to do. But the thing is, the truth is that the client knows that you are probably in your mid 20s. The client has experience usually with management consultants, and he expects from you that you do your work, that you do your homework, that you do the research, that whatever knowledge is out there, that you have access to it. But they don't expect you to kind of tell war stories from your 10 years of management experience. Okay, so I would say no, age is not a problem. Okay, of course, your role changes with time. Okay, so once you get to a project manager level, and you have like 3 to 4 to 5 years of experience in management consulting, obviously then you can start to tell war stories. Okay, and then you communicate on a different level. But then also the expectation is different. So I would say, if you're probably in your mid 20s, or somewhere in your 20s, and you start in management consulting, I mean, people know, what they can expect of you, and they don't expect you to know all the answers, but they expect you to, have a very good work ethic, to, be, yeah, consistent, have strong analytical skills and all of that stuff. That they can expect, but they don't expect you to have that much experience. Okay, so maybe that, hopefully that helps you. Okay, so Short answer, no, it's no problem. I'm about to join a top French business school and want to go into consulting. That's great. What could be the best arguments to put forward to convince the admission jury that I fit for such a position? Oops. Um, okay, so what do you mean? Like, do you mean Erwan? Do you mean 89? Do you mean like, can you please elaborate on that? So, which kind of admission jury from your business school in France? So, if you want to, I mean, if you want to convince the business school in France so that they take you and that they accept you, I think, I mean, you probably should have very strong academic backgrounds, and you should more. I think it's always better to look. I think it's the best way to convince in interviews is that you talk about the results in the past and that you're able to prove the results in the past, but that you at the same time have a very clear vision where you want to go to and how, for example, the business school can help you to get there. Okay, so it's I think that would be my approach. Okay, so look, try to find out what they look for. Okay, so they probably have a kind of a criteria backlog or catalog where they specifically mention what kind of skills or kind of personalities they're looking for, and that you should kind of prove with your past. Okay, at the same time try to come up with a or try to develop a very clear vision about where you want to go, and try to communicate how the business school can help you to get there, because obviously what they want is usually they want to have people who showed strength in the past and who know exactly where they want to go to. Okay, because at the end they want to sell success stories. Okay, they want you, I mean, if they accept you, they want you to become as successful as possible. They want to position you somewhere, especially if you're talking about one of the top schools in France. Then they want to position you, for example, in consulting. So you have to be clear, or you have to make clear that you already know where you want to be, and you have to lay down not a detailed plan, but like an idea, like a strategy on how to do that. So that would be my approach. Okay, so to kind of prove the things they're looking for from the past and show a very strong and clear vision for the future. But please let me know if I got your question right. Okay, so I'm assuming that you're asking how you can apply to or how you can convince the jury for the business from the business school. Are you on TikTok? No, not yet. I'm so busy doing Instagram and YouTube and stuff, so that I can't manage TikTok at the moment. Also, I don't know if I'm that funny. I'm more the content guy, like the idea guy. It's hard for me. I mean, also you might realize that I do the live sessions because this is where I think I'm stronger in sharing insights. I'm not that strong because I'm simply not interested in doing this 10-second snippets and putting a lot of work into creating those TikToks or even Instagram Reels, because I think my time, what I want to do with my time is to get better in what I love doing, and I don't want to waste my time, by figuring out how to prepare the best TikTok. But that's my personal reference preference. Okay, how do we master case interviews? I mean, for case interviews, you just have to be prepared. Okay, so read through all the case study books. Also, you should do some one-on-one sessions with an experienced consultant, and at the end, it's practice, practice, practice. Okay, case studies. I mean, at the end, they are easy. Okay, you just have to practice enough. Um, it's no rocket science. Okay, it's just that you kind of get into the flow, that you know how they work, and the more case studies you do, the better you become at it. okay? And since case studies really are like the daily business of management consultants, I think it's very good that that you kind of prepare as good as possible, because you don't only need it for the assessment center, you also need it for the time as a management consultant, okay? So it's practice, practice, practice. And the best way to prepare for it or to practice is that you do all of the cases from all of the books that you can get, and also try to work through as much books as you can, okay? And do some one-on-one sessions and try to get personal experience um, and advice, obviously, from people who already aced the case at your target consultancy. Okay, then how to deliver ideas like a McKinsey consultant. Okay, the big secret of McKinsey and strategy consultancies like McKinsey, but especially McKinsey, and this is how they became famous, is their structured problem solving approach. Okay, so the short answer is that you need to have a good problem solving approach. And I talk a lot about the book, The McKinsey Way and McKinsey Mind. I highly recommend, if you want to know more about problem solving, to read those books. Also, I currently read Cracked It, a book that someone of you recommended to me. Also, a very good book about problem solving. So the answer is it's about problem solving. Okay, and this means my personal problem solving approach has 4 simple steps. Okay, it's about structuring the problem. Okay, then gathering data, analyzing data, and then communicating and solution. But I made, I think, a couple of videos about problem solving. So if you want to learn more about that, I would recommend to watch one of those videos. So just go on YouTube, is probably the easiest way. Look for Mastering Consulting Problem Solving, and then you will find a couple of videos about problem solving in management consulting. Okay, but if you want me to go into depth in this live session, let me know. Okay, what are the skills that you need to have on your CV to get for you to get shortlisted? Well, okay, so I mean, besides skills, so if I take a look at a CV, okay, the most important thing is always is first grades, and then second, your practical experience, okay? And what I want to see usually is that I don't necessarily, in terms of grades, prefer the top 1%. I think, top 5 to top 10% is fine. Sometimes even top 20%. Yeah, but probably, if you're in the top 5 to top 10, it should be sufficient. Then in terms of practical experience, I want people to have, practical experience actually in management consulting, okay? So they should have done a couple of consulting internships before, or investment banking, or, venture capital, stuff like that, or in a strategy department of, a big corporate. So this is what I would look for in terms of practical experiences, okay? And then if you talk about skills, usually, with the kind of internships you do or you did, and also with the grades, you already prove some kind of skills, okay? Like, for example, in terms of grades, you prove that you have discipline, that you are focused, that you are driven, ambitious. That's why the consultancies put such a strong focus on the grades, because they tell something about your work ethic and how ambitious you are. So that's why they focus on grades. Okay, in terms of internships, if I would see that you have already a couple of experience in other consultancies, that would kind of prove to me that you know how to work in a consultancy. Okay, that you have basic skills or good skills in PowerPoint, Excel, all of that stuff. Besides that, what's very hard to show through your grades and your practical experience are your soft skills, okay? And there I talk about, how you are as a person. Are you a cool teammate, okay? Because people who have awesome grades and great practical experiences, they can also be like assholes in a project, you know what I mean? So I would show, usually, with the cover letter, or with your extracurricular activities, that you're also a very social person. Okay, so maybe you can show that you, I don't know, that you were very active in a sports club, that you have, great hobbies, that you're engaging in your community, stuff like that. Okay, so this usually proves or shows that you also have a very social side and know how to, work in a social environment, because that's also very, very important in management consulting, and because you have so many different stakeholders and people to manage. um, sorry. So I yeah, that's also something you can show. Okay, so just to summarize, I mean the skills. I mean there's a long list of skills that you need in consulting. But just to summarize, okay, so I would say through the grades you can show kind of things like discipline, work ethic, focus, all of that, ambition. Also, I think with the practical experience, you show more like, okay, I know the tools, I know how to, if you did some consulting internships, you know how to work in a problem solving environment, all of that stuff. And with your extracurricular activities, you can focus more on the soft skills, okay, or in the personal skills. This is how I would go for it, okay. And I mean, what list? I mean, what? Okay, just I think the main things are, as I just said, okay. So discipline, analytical approach, being structured, work ethic, and all of the social stuff, okay. And obviously all of the consulting skills and tools, PowerPoint, Excel, and stuff like that. How to sharpen our problem solving skills. Is there any framework we can use? Yes, as I just mentioned. So just watch my video about problem solving. I have a four-step approach. Okay, it's structuring the problem, it's collecting the data, it's analyzing the data, and communicating the solution. Okay. Content is good. Yes. How often do I get live here? Also, is it wise to start your own consulting company out of university, assuming you have the business model figured out and professional training? Okay, I go live every day. So usually every day at 10 p.m. CET. Okay, this is where I most time, most, I mean, almost every day I find the time, to go live on at 10 p.m. But sometimes a bit earlier, later, depending on my schedule. Yeah, I mean, the question is tough. I mean, no, it's not tough. I mean, I thought about. I mean, I founded my own consultancy when I was at university. Okay, so this was how I earned my money during my studies. And I played with the thought to kind of, launch my own consultancy directly. And if you are a very, very, very strong entrepreneurial guy, then yes, you can do it. So my reason to join a consultancy first was, and I can confirm my assumption back then was that it's a good school to go through. Okay, so I would recommend to rather do at least 3 or 4 years in management consulting first, because the kind of hard skills you learn, the kind of soft skills you learn, the network you can build. I mean, this is very valuable. Okay, and my current plan, I mean, yes, I have very strong entrepreneurial tendencies, but my current plan is rather to do the partner track in my consultancy now, and then thinking about founding my own consultancy. Because my personal rationale at the moment is, okay, if I don't know, or if I cannot manage it to kind of get to partner, and which essentially means to to build a network and sell projects. If I can manage that in a kind of protected environment within a company, I will probably also be not able to do that in a unfriendly environment as an entrepreneur. Okay, so for me, this is kind of the school I want to put myself through. Okay, and that's how I think about it. So yes, you can do it. I mean, Business model in consulting is not very difficult. Okay, it's just selling services. Even if you have a strong positioning, professional training, I don't know. So I would say get some experience at a consultancy first, okay? Because you will be surprised how many things you don't know, okay? And then it can be valuable to kind of do that in a protected environment first. So that would be probably my take. And what consulting firm are you currently in? I'm working for a strategy boutique consultancy called Stern Stewart in Germany. And what we do is, I mean, basically we are in direct competition to McKinsey, BCG, and Bain, especially in Europe. I would say, I mean, we're a bit smaller, much more smaller. We only have like 100 consultants, but I would say it's a bit more focused on top management topics, okay, like value creation, strategy, transaction business, stuff like that. And yeah, it's probably, I don't know, maybe a bit more exclusive, I don't know, stuff like that. And we also have a private equity arm, so it's a mixture between Jesus, consulting and private equity, okay. And I'm currently on a senior consultant level and will hopefully soon become project manager, but we will see. Where are you from anyway? I'm from Germany. And greetings back to Indonesia. Thanks for the answer. You're very welcome. Okay, would I mind to make a video about how to make slides as a consultant? I already did some videos about presentation. Just check my YouTube channel. Okay, there it's probably the most structured way to watch all of my content. And yes, I can do that. I mean, if I think about slides, there are always several levels. It's first about how to get from an idea to a slide. That's I think the first part, and how to tell stories. Also all of the process, and the other part is like how to technically visualize a slide. But I can make a video about that. But I'm always so surprised why people are so interested in slide building. At the end, it's not that complicated. Okay, you have certain elements like action titles. You have some visual guidelines like font sizes, colors, etc. And but yes, I can make a video about that. Okay, everyone says, yes, you answered right. I want to get admitted to the school by talking about consulting and I will focus on my past results then. Thanks. Yeah, good. Make sure that you have a clear vision and make sure to highlight how the school can help you to achieve that mission, okay? Because they don't want people who start thinking about the future when they are in, in business school. Can you make a video based on a consulting scenario like Solve It Live? Yes, that's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah, I thought about it. Why not? I also could do some cases if you like me to do that live. This would be fun actually. But then I would have to kind of work. It's hard to do that on Instagram. Then we had to would have to switch to YouTube. Okay, but then I could show you how I usually do it on an iPad. Then I could share my iPad, and then you could follow my thought process. But good idea. I can do that. Do you open for case interview practice? So what do you mean with do you open? I mean, like, do you offer or what do you mean? So, sorry, maybe you can specify your question because I don't really get it. I am not offering case prep sessions if you are asking that. The reason for that is okay, good. Then I will do it in YouTube. No, I don't. I don't offer case prep. But the reason for that is that there are already so many people out there who do that, and they have much more experience. And yeah, I want to focus more on the skills. rather than only on case prep, because I think the overall skills, to me at least, are a bit more interesting. Good. Do you have more questions? Let's check YouTube, by the way. Simtif, nice to have you on YouTube. How do you and your partner manage your relationship since you're only free 1 day a week? I'm a person. Okay. Also, how do you see it in the future considering having kids, etc.? Simply, very good question. So the question is, it's a question on YouTube. I have it in a parallel chat for all the Instagrammers. So the question is how I manage my relationship with my girlfriend while only having 1 free day per week, and how I see it in the future when I want to have kids. That's a good question, and the reason, the answer is you have to focus on quality rather than quantity. Okay, so if you only have 1 day, then you need to make sure that you get the most out of it. Okay, so this means, for example, we have simple example, instead of watching Netflix 4 hours long, we spend a day together, go outside hiking, spend some time in the nature. And evening we usually go having dinner together. We also spend a lot of money together. The reason is just, you have to provide that quality. And then it's not about the money that you spend, but we go to fancy restaurants just because it's a lot of fun, and it kind of is good for the atmosphere. And sometimes we just sit at home, have a glass of wine, and have a very deep conversation. Okay, this is also quality, but you have to strive for quality rather than quantity. Okay, it's very, very important. Also, what we do is that we have a relationship coach. Okay, so we have, like, every 4 weeks we have a 1 or 2 hour session with a coach. And it's not, most people only have a relationship coach if they have, like, problems, okay, like marriage counseling or so. But what we do is that it's similar, like, doing sports. I think, you have to do it, regularly, in order to, not getting any health issues. And I think it's very similar with a relationship coach. Okay, so we have it kind of preventive every 4 weeks, do a session, talk about a relationship, try to figure out if there are any issues we need to talk about, and then try to resolve them. Okay, so short answer again is, focus on quality rather than quantity, and also invest in your relationship, for example, by going to a relationship coach and stuff like that. And also, we have, like, every quarter I take 1 week off, um to go on vacation with my girlfriend, and this helps, obviously, also as well. And in the future, if we talk about kids, I haven't figured out yet. Maybe I will reduce work then, but I haven't thought about that actually too much. Okay, Simtif, but it's a good question. Yeah, it's a very good question. Hope that helps you or answers your question. Otherwise, let me know in the chat. Good. Is digital transformation in consulting a trend? Yes, of course it is. Yeah. I think there are three main trends that we currently see, especially after COVID. So the first one is classical transformation, and this, many companies had, like, a major revenue declines through COVID, and they have big issues with profitability. So I think, like, on the one part is, or one important trend in consulting, is that we do all of these transformation projects, like, but restructuring projects. I think there's one big trend to go back to profitability. Second one is digital transformation, and the third one is sustainable transformation. Okay, I think those are the main three topics that will stay relevant for the next, let's say, 10 years. Can you explain more on the steps? Structure problem, gather data, analyze data, and communicate solution. Yes, I can. Okay, so structuring the problem means that you. Okay, so let's say So let's say the client asks you to, I mean, the client has a problem that, profitability is declining. Okay. So so that's the task. Okay. And you as a consultant are hired to solve this problem. Then the first part is to structure it. Okay. We usually do that by applying frameworks. Okay. And this is typically what you do when you solve case interviews is the first step, that you lay out a structure. Okay. You say, okay, profitability, it's revenue side and cost side. And you go down all the revenue positions, you go down all the cost positions, and for example, structure the problem, okay, to understand what kind of things you have to look into. Then also in the structure phase, okay, first phase, you would conduct conduct some interviews to get a first idea about the problem, and then very important, you would kind of formulate hypothesis, okay. So you lay down the structure with a, for example, problem tree, okay, as I just described in terms of profitability, revenue, and cost positions. And then you would formalize a hypothesis, like, for example, okay, my hypothesis is based on the interviews that I conducted that profitability decreases or declines because of, I don't know, bad price management, okay, lower prices than expected and higher raw material costs, for example. Okay, and then you formulate some hypothesis. Then you go to the next step. Step 2 is gather data. So this means to test your hypothesis. Okay, so the result of structure of phase 1 is that you have hypothesis. Then you try to test your hypothesis as you would, write a scientific thesis, for example. And for that, you need to collect data. Okay, you get the annual statements, you get revenue data, you conduct more interviews, I don't know, get a lot of data, okay, and you just collect it, okay, do research, all of that stuff, okay. This is the second phase. Then you go to the third phase, okay, and there you try to find out through analysis if your hypothesis is true, okay. Then you crunch all of the numbers, try to see any trends, see any causality, causation dependencies, and then you would kind of test your hypothesis. Okay, if your hypothesis was that profitability declines because of increasing raw material prices or costs, then your analysis should show if that's true or not. Okay, and then at the end you go to the fourth stage. This is communicating your idea. So this means that you tested all of your hypotheses, and at the end okay, those are the 2 or 3 reasons why profitability is decreasing, and this is our solution. Okay, so this would be step number 5, and then you finally communicate it. And this is, building presentation, doing the, communicating to your stakeholders and so on. Okay, so legal technologist, this is, a rough overview with a bit more detail, okay? So let me know if this, if this is sufficient. Good, then back on YouTube. Simtif again asks, okay, thanks. Does your girlfriend have a similar busy job? Yes, she's studying law, okay, and she's very active as an entrepreneur. So she is very busy. Although she's consulting can be very intense in tough times. So I'm probably a bit more busy, but I also have a stronger focus on okay, thank you, legal technologist. See you tomorrow. So my girlfriend, she's also very, very driven, but I have probably a bit stronger career focus than she does. Okay, Simtif again asks, I want to pick up a question from a few weeks ago, maybe also suitable as a whole video. Can you explain your personal visualization exercise? Yeah, sorry, you asked me about that. It's actually very simple. For you guys on Instagram or on YouTube, if you don't know about my visualization technique, so part of my daily morning routine is to do a visualization technique, okay, where I kind of try to visualize my goals, okay, and this helps me in my morning routine, to get fired up, to activate my subconscious and so on. And the technique I use is actually very simple. Well, I actually have several techniques. Okay, first of all, I have a vision board right in front of me. Maybe I will share a photo or a post on Instagram. So I have a vision board right in front of my working space here. So this is one part of visualization. What I do every morning is quite simple. Okay, I just sit down for 10 minutes. Okay, I usually have some music, some kind of relaxed rain music or stuff like that. It is a very chilly stuff. And what I then do is that I imagine my life in 10 years. And it's really that I try to imagine my week. Okay, so this means I have always like the same movie that's playing in my head. Okay, I think like, okay, in 10 years I get up, I wake up, what do I see? Okay, what does my bedroom look like? Okay, what is the kind of view that I have? Okay, then what do I do then next? I go down, do a workout, then I go to the spa within my house, then I have a breakfast with my kids and my wife. How does my house look like? Okay, how does it feel? Then I go to work, with what people am I working together with? How does my travel schedule look like? What am I doing? Okay, and I try to visualize an entire work week, okay, and try to really feel it, okay. And every day I do it, I put another focus or focus on another detail, okay. And this really, I mean, when I do this, it feels like I'm already there, and this is exactly what you want to do, okay, or why you want to do it, okay, because you want to feel this emotion, so that you really know, okay, in 10 years I will be there no matter what, because it's already so real for me. And this is what I do. It's actually very simple. And if you want to try it yourself, just sit down, put some relaxed music on, and just try, just listen to it, and try to visualize your future life. And I think it's very easy if you try to visualize a certain process, like an entire day, or as I do, an entire week, and then just start, okay, and just try to figure out how it feels, and if it feels good, then proceed and go into more details. It's very simple, but it's very effective. So I discovered it. One of my mentors recommended this technique for me, and very helpful. Yeah. Good. Simtif on YouTube asks again, which steps do you follow? Which goals do you have, and which do you visualize? Do you use OKRs? Okay, many questions. Yes, I do use OKRs, but I don't visualize like my OKRs are more in the short term. Okay, so my OKRs are usually on a yearly basis. Then I break it down to quarterly, quarterly, monthly, weekly OKRs. This is how I deal with OKRs, okay? And then my vision is much broader, okay? And I mean in terms of money, of course, it's also very hard to visualize. I don't know. Let's say your goal is to become a billionaire. It's hard to visualize a billion US dollars, okay? So what would that look like? So what I do is rather to be very specific about what it looks like, what it feels like, as a result of my goals. Okay, this is how I approach it, Simtif. Good. Do you have any more questions? All right. Good, guys. Then I think let's call it a day. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining this live session. It was a pleasure for me. Next live will be tomorrow, probably 10 p.m. CET, as always. If you have any questions or want me to do a live about certain topics, then please let me know through a direct message on Instagram or write in the comments on YouTube. So with that being said, I want to thank you for your time. Hope you have a great evening and talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.